Hey guys, Tavis Piattoly, sports dietitian with the Taylor Hooten Foundation. And today we're going to talk about 3 tips for fat loss. Now, we're not going to really focus on weight loss. I know a lot of people are really obsessed about the scale. I think that's a bad idea just to kind of look at numbers, especially weighing yourself either on a daily basis, maybe once a week, once every couple of weeks, that's good. But we're going to talk about tips to losing fat. Now, you can lose weight a lot of different ways. You can go on a crash diet. You can, remove a limb. You can go to the bathroom. You can starve yourself. There's a lot of ways that people can lose scale weight, but that doesn't always translate into fat weight. A lot of times that is, but in most cases, if you're not doing 3 things, more than likely a lot of that weight might not be fat. So let's talk about 3 tips for fat loss. Number 1, a nice slow progressive calorie deficit. If you need 2,000 or 2,500 calories a day, and all of a sudden you jump on a 1,000 calorie crash diet, that is going to negatively impact your metabolism for the long term. So we don't want to do that. We want a nice slow progressive weight loss that's sustainable and maintainable. For example, let's just say you exercise on a regular basis, and to maintain your weight, you need about 2,200 calories. Then you probably want to start following about a 1,700, maybe a 1,600 calorie diet. If you go to that crash diet way, you really have no room to drop any further, and it makes it even more difficult. And it, again, negatively impacts metabolism. You're probably sacrificing some muscle tissue. We don't want to do that. So nice, slow, progressive calorie deficit. Number 2 is lifting weights. I see it hand in hand, especially on the female side, cardio, cardio, cardio. While cardiovascular is great for the heart, it really does nothing to build a lean figure or muscle. You have to lift weights if you want to get leaner or toner. And I hear that all the time. I want to get toner. I want to get leaner. But if I lift weights, it's going to make me bulky. And that is completely false. And look at it this way. I like to use this analogy. Look at the sprinter, the track and field sprinter versus the cross-country runner. And what do their body types look like? Right. The cross-country runner's thin, and they can run for hours, but they have no muscle tone whatsoever. Nothing against cross-country runners. That's just their physique. And then you look at the sprinter, the 50 to 100 to 200 meter sprinter. They're lean and they're strong. And that's what our body types really should be focused on if we're trying to lose fat. So lifting weights 3 to 5 days a week. Do what you enjoy and do what's comfortable. That is an extremely important component when it comes to fat loss. And finally, adequate protein. I see this so often when I look at food logs. It's pretty constant that I see inadequate protein intake. We think we're consuming too much, and most people say, oh, we always get enough protein. That's completely false. If anything, we're eating way too many carbs and not enough protein to get leaner. So how much do you really need? About 0.8 to 1 grams per pound of body weight is what the research is telling us. So if you're 200 pounds, at least a minimum of about 160 grams of protein a day, all the way up to maybe 200 grams. And if you're lifting weights, maybe 1 to 1.2, especially if you're lifting pretty intensely, 4 to 5 days a week, you need more protein to support that muscle tissue breakdown and to help that muscle tissue rebuild. So how do I know if I'm getting enough? And really what the research tells us is make sure you spread that protein out throughout the day. Even little pulses of protein, 30, 40 grams per meal, 4 to 5, 6 times a day is better than trying to get a big bolus dose of eating like a 12 or 16 ounce steak. I see that a lot in these young athletes. They don't eat much early in the day and they try to overcompensate late at night by eating a large meal, and we don't want to do that. So again, 3 tips: nice, slow, progressive, steady calorie deficit. Doesn't have to be drastic. Just change your habits. Number 2, lift weights 3 to 5 times a week. And finally, adequate protein every single day. So thank you guys for following us at the Taylor Hooten Foundation, taylorhooten.org. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.